KPI. You hear this all the time, but what is it? It's a key performance indicator. Great. What does that mean? In simple terms, it's literally anything that you measure. And think about it this way. Anything that you track and measure will improve. I'll give you a few examples. In sports, if you look at football or soccer, depending on what part of the world you're in, or ice hockey, they have goals that are obviously measured. But what's the other thing that gets measured? Shots on goal. And why would that ever get measured? Here's why. Because the more you can measure the shots on goal, the higher chance you have of actually getting more goals. So they use this measurement as a form of conversion, converting from shots on goals to actual goals. Let me give you another example. In cooking, everything is measured, usually, right? Well, not in my case. When I was in middle school, I had an assignment where we had to cook something and share the recipe with the entire class. And my mom sent me to the class with the recipe for tabbouleh, which is a Middle Eastern salad, if you're not familiar with it. And part of her measurement was a little bit of salt. I had everything in little plastic bags, and that's how she described everything to me. Oh, a little bit of salt and a little bit of lemon and a little bit of olive oil. So when I was mixing everything in, the teacher actually said, Muna, what's the measurement of that? And I said, oh, a little bit. And she said, yeah, but what's a little bit? Like a teaspoon, a half a teaspoon? And I was looking at it and I was looking at the teacher and I was like, a little bit. So obvious, because that's what I was taught. Now in cooking, that may not work so well because a little bit to me is different than a little bit to you. And my little bit can actually completely mess up the dish. So that's why tracking and measuring is important. Now let's bring this into a sales example. If you speak to 10 people, if you speak to 10 prospects, and 3 of them agree to meet with you, your conversion rate is 33%. And that's a decent conversion rate. But if you speak to 10 prospects and 5 of them agree to meet with you, that's 50% conversion rate. That means you are very good. Now, if you speak to 10 and 7 agree to meet with you, then you're an absolute superstar and I want to know exactly what you're saying on the phone. Tell me everything right now. So when I go into a sales training, one of the first things I always ask my students is, what are your conversions? And just like in the examples of sports that I gave, sales works the same exact way. When you know your conversion rates in general, you know where to improve. But surprisingly, the most common response that I get is, I don't know. Or even better, what does a conversion rate mean? So in very simple terms, a conversion rate is a comparison of anything. So for example, in sales, what you would want to be measuring if your goal is to set up meetings for your company is number of prospects that you speak to versus number of meetings that you set up, or number of emails that you send out versus the number of responses that you get back. Another conversion, a very important conversion obviously, is the number of meetings that you have versus the number of contracts that you end up signing. Now, depending on what these percentages are and which ones are higher and which ones are lower, that will tell you over even a short period of time, it will tell you where you need to focus more of your efforts. So for example, if the number of emails or LinkedIn messages that you send out versus the number of responses that you're getting back is, let's say, less than 30%, then you need to work on what it is that you are saying in your email, the content of your email. Are you interesting enough? Are you direct? Are you short? Are you to the point? Are you different? So many things go into an email, getting somebody to open it, getting somebody after they open it to continue reading or to understand what it is that you're even asking for, and then getting them to actually reply. Another example is if your number of people that you speak to versus the number of meetings that you set up is less than 30%, then you need to work on your telephone skills. What are you saying on the phone? How are you saying it? Are you mirroring and matching? Are you using any NLP skills? Do you even know what NLP is on a very basic level? Are you engaging them? Are you asking the right questions? Are you talking a lot? Are you talking too much? Are you boring them? Are you different? Are you the same? Are you exactly what they're expecting? Are you expecting them to say, I'm not interested, and you say, okay, no problem, and you hang up? So many things go into being really good on the phone. And you can actually watch a number of my videos and get some tips on that. I'll put some right here, and I'll put another one right here. And I'll link them in the description below as well. Another example, if your number of meetings versus the number of contracts that you're actually signing are less than 30%, you see there's a common theme here, 30%, I'll tell you why in a minute, then that means that you need to focus on whatever it is that you're doing at the meeting, because something is not going right. It could be the way that you're talking. Are you talking too much? Are you not asking the right questions? Are you dressed inappropriately? Are you not professional enough? What kind of accessories are you bringing with you? Are you bringing like a big clunky laptop? Are you bringing no visuals at all? There's so many things that go into giving a good presentation and increasing your chance of closing that deal. So at least by knowing that conversion, you know that you need to focus on that. Now, why do I keep talking about 30%? Because on average, statistically, in life, anything will work out 3 times out of 10. You don't have to be necessarily really good at whatever it is that you're doing. You just have to do it decently well. And 3 times out of 10, you should get it, whether it's the meeting or the agreement or whatever it is. So anything that's over 30% means that you are doing something slightly or exceptionally better, depending on how much over 30% you are. So there's really so many things that you can be working on in this sales profession. So where do you actually start? You start by tracking your numbers. So if you haven't been tracking anything so far, and what I've just given you is a lot to digest, just do this for the next few days. Just track your numbers. How many people are you speaking to? How many meetings are you setting up? And from the meetings, how many contracts are you signing? Get that percentage, and then you will know which areas you need to start working on the most. It's literally that simple. And that is your KPI. So then you can go around saying, oh, my KPI is this. What's your KPI? KPI, KPI, KPI. And then you can sound really smart because you said KPI. If this video was helpful, click the like button and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video.